From the outside, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's life looked like a Hollywood fairy tale. Blockbuster films, sold-out arenas, a tequila brand worth millions, and a family that smiled together on every red carpet. The man who once electrified wrestling fans now commanded global attention as a media mogul, actor, and entrepreneur. But behind that signature smile and ever-chiseled jawline, something darker had begun to crack the picture-perfect life he projected. It all began subtly, so subtly, in fact, that even the most diehard fans missed the signs. In early 2024, The Rock appeared at the premiere of Red Notice 2 alone. The tabloids chalked it up to scheduling conflicts. His wife, Lauren Hashian, was supporting from home, or so his publicist said. But those who worked closely with Dwayne knew something was off. He was quieter on set, often retreating into his trailer between takes, and his once playful interactions with cast and crew had become infrequent and stiff. One assistant recalled hearing him on a late-night phone call, pacing the floor in socks, his voice low but sharp. "I can't keep pretending, Lauren. We haven't been us for a long time." The call ended with a long, hollow silence. That spring, a TMZ paparazzi team captured Lauren exiting a Beverly Hills attorney's office wearing oversized sunglasses and a blank expression. She clutched a leather folder so tightly her knuckles turned white. The rumors ignited like gasoline. Was Hollywood's most stable couple on the verge of collapse? But rather than issue a denial, Dwayne did something odd. He said nothing at all. No press statement. No social media photos. No red carpet corrections. Just silence. This silence became louder than any denial. An eagle-eyed real estate blogger broke the next piece of the puzzle. In May 2024, public records revealed that a multi-million-dollar estate in Pacific Palisades, originally co-owned by Dwayne and Lauren, had quietly been transferred to a trust in her name. No public announcement. No real estate listing. It was done with surgical precision, as if anticipating that someone might notice and dig deeper. And someone did. A former WWE journalist turned YouTube investigator named Travis Malone published a 42-minute exposé titled, "What is The Rock Hiding?" It gained over 5 million views in a week. The video detailed a timeline of Dwayne and Lauren's dwindling public appearances, the absence of family photos, and a sudden change in their daughter's school enrollment. Even casual viewers couldn't deny the pattern forming. Something had fractured, deeply. In one of the video's final segments, Malone whispered, "This isn't just a Hollywood breakup. This is a controlled media blackout. And if what I've found next is true, it goes way beyond divorce." Viewers flooded the comments section, speculating wildly. Was there a prenup? A custody battle? Was Dwayne protecting something bigger? None of them expected what came next. Weeks later, a former college friend of Dwayne's, Marcus Bell, surfaced on a podcast hosted by sports personality Clay Thomas. Marcus claimed that during a visit to Johnson's Miami home in 2023, he'd stumbled upon a leather-bound journal on the kitchen counter. Thinking it was a fitness log, he skimmed through a few pages, until he realized it wasn't about workouts at all. It was personal. Dark, Marcus admitted. He wrote about how he didn't recognize the woman he married. That success changed them both. That he feared Lauren was keeping secrets from him. But the scariest part? He said he felt watched. Like someone inside his own home wasn't telling the truth. Bell's appearance set the internet on fire. Millions of fans rewatched red carpet interviews with new eyes, searching for tension in the smiles, for glances that lasted too long or not long enough. Was Dwayne Johnson living a lie? Or was he a prisoner inside his own empire? Then, a bombshell leak from a whistleblower inside Dwayne's inner circle revealed that Johnson had allegedly hired a private investigator, months before the premiere of Red Notice 2. The PI, known in Los Angeles legal circles as Carter V., was reportedly tasked with surveilling not just Lauren, but also a close male friend she frequently traveled with during her music production projects. This revelation sent shockwaves through celebrity media. Was Lauren unfaithful? Or was Dwayne paranoid? If the leak was real, it meant Dwayne had been planning for divorce long before the public saw even the first crack. But why stay married in public while quietly dismantling the foundation in private? Insiders whispered about an NDA, possibly the strictest ever signed in a celebrity union. Others believed the divorce proceedings were paused until a major film deal closed. Either way, the world was no longer seeing The Rock. They were seeing a man whose world was built on control, and whose control was beginning to slip. And then, just as the public was piecing it all together, Dwayne Johnson disappeared from social media entirely. When Dwayne Johnson went silent online, fans thought it was a marketing stunt. He had done it before, vanishing from Instagram only to re-emerge with a new movie trailer, a fitness campaign, or a tequila launch. But this time, there was no announcement. No promotion. No trace of him, not even a birthday post for one of his daughters, something he never missed. 3 weeks passed. Then, a single photo appeared on Instagram, not from Dwayne's account, but from an obscure page that had never before posted anything personal. The photo was grainy, clearly taken from a distance, showing Dwayne sitting alone on a park bench in upstate New York, dressed in plain gray sweats and a beanie, hunched over with elbows on knees, staring at the pavement. The caption read only one word: alone. The internet exploded. Some claimed it was AI generated. Others swore they recognized the park near Albany. More importantly, people were asking, what was he doing there? And why was one of the world's most recognizable faces hiding out like a fugitive? A fan account cross-referenced the angle of the photo with Google Maps and confirmed the location. It was near a retreat center, one known for crisis counseling and rebuilding after betrayal. It wasn't long before someone claiming to work at the center reached out to a celebrity gossip site anonymously. According to their tip, Dwayne had been staying at the facility for over 10 days. No entourage. No publicist. No cameras. The leak described him as exhausted, paranoid, and not sleeping. One night, reportedly, Dwayne stormed out of a private session, shouting, "I gave her everything. I was everything. Why wasn't it enough?" When reporters tried to confirm the story, the center denied any involvement. But it was too late. The rumors were now wildfire. Meanwhile, Lauren Hashian had moved to London for work, as her team phrased it. But British paparazzi spotted her dining at a private members' club in Mayfair, on more than one occasion, with the same male producer she had collaborated with on her last album. Photos showed them laughing, leaning in close, and leaving minutes apart. The body language was clear. This wasn't just business. But Lauren wasn't running from the spotlight. She gave a rare interview to a UK fashion magazine, smiling in a sleek blazer, sipping wine, and speaking only in generalities. Sometimes people grow in different directions. That's natural. The real courage is in letting go, or deciding what love looks like on the other side. No names. No specifics. But for those following the trail, her meaning was sharp as a blade. The contrast was glaring. While Lauren stepped confidently into a solo spotlight, Dwayne was collapsing under its weight. For the first time in decades, the man known as The Rock looked breakable. That's when the email leak happened. A hacker group calling itself Sisyphus claimed to have accessed archived communications between Dwayne and his team. They released only a handful of screenshots, but it was enough. One email, dated 6 months before Dwayne's social media disappearance, was marked urgent. "If this gets out, the Disney deal is gone. You need to fix this. Fast. And under no circumstances does Lauren go public before Q3. Another, allegedly from Dwayne's lawyer, warned. The prenup is airtight, unless she proves infidelity or coercion. You need to be the narrative, not the villain. Public reaction was immediate and divided. Had Dwayne tried to delay a divorce for the sake of money and image? Was this why he'd stayed silent while Lauren drifted away? Commentators on entertainment networks speculated day and night. Some accused Lauren of manipulation. Others saw Dwayne as the architect of his own implosion. Meanwhile, beneath the public war of whispers, something darker stirred. A journalist from Variety, digging deeper into the story, discovered a sealed court filing dated from mid-2023. It wasn't labeled as a divorce but as a confidential matter concerning the welfare of a minor. This raised new alarms. Were the Johnson children caught in the crossfire? Insiders reported that one of Dwayne's daughters had been removed from her private school in California and enrolled in a quiet program in Montana under an alias. There were rumors of custody battles behind closed doors. Allegations, never confirmed, of emotional volatility and protective action. Some hinted that the kids had been shielded from media fallout, while others claimed Dwayne had temporarily lost access due to instability. This wasn't a Hollywood breakup. This was a war fought in silence. And then, out of nowhere, a cryptic video appeared on Dwayne's official YouTube channel. No title. No intro. Just 13 seconds of him in the gym, shirtless, back turned to the camera. As he lifted weights in slow, deliberate movements, he muttered 3 words barely caught on mic. "It ends now." Fans were baffled. Was this his comeback? A threat? A final word? The comments flooded in. He's taking the power back. She's going to regret it. Or maybe he already lost. And then, just as suddenly, the video was deleted. But not before millions had seen it. The Rock, once the most bankable and unshakable figure in American entertainment, had become something else entirely, a man with nothing left to lose. And somewhere in the quiet corners of his fractured empire, a storm was brewing. Something neither he nor Lauren could keep buried forever. The dust from the YouTube video hadn't yet settled when a woman named Alana Rivera stepped into the spotlight. She wasn't famous. Not an actress, not an influencer. But 20 years ago, she had been something else to Dwayne Johnson, the woman he nearly married before Lauren Hashian. At the time, Alana was a rising sports journalist, sharp-witted and magnetic, with a presence that rivaled any movie star. Their relationship had ended quietly, with both parties citing different paths. But now, in a surprise appearance on the talk show Unfiltered with Naomi Vega, Alana broke 2 decades of silence, and what she revealed shifted the entire narrative. "I didn't come here to attack Dwayne," she began, calm but visibly tense. "But when I saw that video, the one where he said, 'It ends now,' I knew he wasn't just talking to Lauren. He was talking to ghosts." She went on to describe a period in their relationship when Dwayne became obsessed with building his brand. Not just obsessed, consumed. "He started keeping 2 calendars," she said. "One for public commitments and one for private operations. Image management. Narrative shaping. He didn't want to be a star. He wanted to be a myth." Alana claimed that Dwayne's personal team at the time, which included a former political consultant, had crafted his trajectory with surgical precision. Every interview, every charity event, even the way he announced his first child's birth, none of it was spontaneous. "He told me once, people don't fall in love with men. They fall in love with monuments." And that's what he tried to become. The interview went viral. Clips of Alana's steady voice were shared across platforms, with hashtags like #MythOfTheRock and #DwayneUnmasked trending within hours. But she wasn't finished. In a follow-up appearance, she referenced a document, an old NDA, drawn up in 2005, which she claimed was presented to her after their breakup. In it, she was offered a 6-figure sum to never speak publicly about their time together. She never signed it. "Maybe I should've," she admitted. But watching all of this happen again, the same cycles, the same control tactics. "I couldn't stay quiet anymore. This revelation forced a new wave of scrutiny onto Dwayne's legacy. If he had been managing his personal story for decades, how much of the family man image was authentic? How many cracks had been painted over in the name of perfection? Meanwhile, on the business front, the timing couldn't have been worse. Just as Disney was finalizing a deal to feature Dwayne in a multiverse expansion of the Moana franchise, the studio paused negotiations. Internal emails, leaked by the same Sisyphus group, revealed executives debating whether his domestic instability posed a risk to the brand. "Perception is reality," one exec wrote bluntly. "And right now, he looks radioactive." Behind the scenes, Dwayne's team scrambled. Crisis managers were brought in. Former PR strategists were rehired. But nothing could stop the bleeding. The media had found its narrative, the fall of a titan. And the next blow didn't come from Lauren or Alana, it came from within. One of Dwayne's former house staff members, an older man named Martin who had worked for the Johnson family for nearly a decade, gave an exclusive interview to Vanity Fair. He described a household filled with luxury, but also tension. "There were nights when you could hear them through the walls," he said softly. "Fights that started with silence and ended with screaming. The kind of things you can't unhear." Martin claimed that in the months leading to the social media disappearance, Dwayne became increasingly erratic. He wasn't sleeping. He'd lift weights at 3 a.m. just to feel real. And more than once, I saw him standing in the dark kitchen, just staring at the fridge. Not moving. Just breathing like he was trying to remember who he was. These weren't the headlines fans were used to. This wasn't about scandal or betrayal anymore. This was a slow unraveling of a man who had defined strength for an entire generation. And as the empire cracked, more people began to talk. A silent partner in Dwayne's tequila company filed to be released from a non-disclosure clause. Though the court blocked the release, rumors swirled that the partner had been forced out after raising concerns about Dwayne's mental volatility. Even within Hollywood, doors began to close. A high-profile director stepped away from an upcoming project, citing misaligned values. An ad campaign with a global fitness brand was delayed indefinitely. And through it all, Lauren remained mostly silent. Until one evening, in a move no one expected, she posted a single photo to her Instagram. A quiet picture of a sunrise over the Thames River, captioned simply, "There's a peace that only comes when you stop pretending." The message was subtle, almost poetic. But it landed like thunder. Fans and media alike interpreted it as confirmation. She was done playing her part in the story Dwayne had written. She had left the stage. But not everyone was ready to walk away. Because somewhere in the flood of headlines, court whispers, and buried pasts, someone else was watching. Someone who knew something even deeper, something Dwayne himself had tried to keep locked away for years. And they were about to speak. The headlines raged, but Dwayne Johnson remained out of sight. No appearances, no press releases, just whispers and sightings. But even silence has its sound, and it came from the most unexpected place. A woman named Sarah Kane, a child psychologist from Los Angeles, posted an anonymous blog entry on a now-deleted Medium page. It was titled "The Drawing That Changed Everything." In it, she described working with a young girl in the spring of 2024, unnamed, but clearly from a high-profile family. The girl had been transferred to her care under what the paperwork called temporary emotional distress due to environmental change. In one session, the child was asked to draw her family. She drew a massive figure standing on one side of the paper. It was a man made of stone, with cracks all over his body. His face had no mouth. On the other side of the paper stood a smaller figure, a woman with music notes above her head and a bright sun over her shoulder. Between them was a little girl holding a balloon that was slowly drifting toward the woman. The stone man was crying. According to the post, the child looked up after drawing and said, "He doesn't want to be mean. He just doesn't know how to stop being strong." That line alone spread like wildfire once the blog was screenshotted and reshared across forums, Reddit, and eventually tabloids. Many speculated the child was Dwayne and Lauren's daughter. The drawing, the metaphor, it all aligned. But what came next was even more jarring. Just as fans were reeling from the emotional weight of the story, an audio file leaked through a podcast hosted by investigative journalist Monica Deal. The source was anonymous. The voice, unmistakable. It was Dwayne. The file, about 2 minutes long, sounded like a message never meant to be sent. A confession? A reflection? No one could tell for sure. You spend your life trying to be unshakable. You train every muscle, every cell, every damn second to never break. But then you come home, and you're just a man. And when the people you love see that man, tired, scared, messy, they don't know what to do with him. I thought if I kept everything standing, they'd stay. If I stayed strong, she'd never leave. But strength without softness, it's not love. It's stone. The voice was raw. Slowed. Vulnerable in a way the world had never heard. Monica Deal confirmed through independent sound analysis that the voice was authentic. The file, according to metadata, was recorded 4 months before the rumored divorce filings. Suddenly, the public perception shifted. Some began to defend Dwayne again. He's human. He tried. He just didn't know how to ask for help. Others were more skeptical. Now he wants sympathy? Where was this energy before the damage was done? But none of it mattered more than what was happening inside Dwayne himself. An anonymous source close to his inner circle, his former strength coach, told People magazine that Dwayne had stopped training entirely. He walked into the gym one morning, looked around, and said, "What's the point if I can't lift what matters?" Then he left. Never came back. This was not The Rock. This was Dwayne, crumbling. His team tried one last effort to stabilize the narrative, a legacy interview. Pre-recorded. Soft-lighted. Gentle music. He'd sit down with Oprah or Hoda Kotb and share his truth. But every time they planned it, he backed out. He didn't want to be seen broken. And then, it all stopped. No more leaks. No more rumors. Lauren went quiet. Dwayne vanished again. Hollywood moved on to other scandals. Until one final twist. 3 weeks later, a hand-addressed letter appeared in the mailbox of a popular LA entertainment blogger. No stamp. No return address. Inside, a single page. Some monuments were built to protect people. Some were built to hide what was already broken. I was both. Let me fall. The internet debated whether it was real. But deep down, everyone knew. The myth had ended. And the man beneath it was finally beginning. 1 year later, the world had moved on. Hollywood had devoured its next scandal. A pop star's breakdown. A tech CEO's criminal trial. The Rock was no longer the headline, he had become the silence between them. The icon who vanished. The man who chose to disappear. But Dwayne Johnson was not gone. He had simply changed. It started with a single photo. No press release. No paparazzi ambush. Just a candid shot, shared by a Montana bookstore owner on her private Instagram, later reposted across every corner of the internet. Dwayne stood by the register, smiling faintly, holding a worn copy of The Art of Happiness by the Dalai Lama. His beard had grown out. He wore a simple flannel shirt. No sunglasses. No bodyguards. The caption read, "Nicest guy I've ever met. Said he's working on something new. Something small, but real." Speculation reignited, but it didn't burn as it once had. There were no press junkets. No Rock comeback tour. Just fragments. A local paper in Bozeman reported he had been volunteering at a wilderness recovery center. Another source claimed he was mentoring troubled teens, no cameras allowed, no publicity. A short video surfaced of him laughing with a group of boys at a rural basketball court. He missed the shot, grinned, and fell to his knees in exaggerated defeat. The boys roared with laughter. It wasn't The Rock. It was Dwayne. And in Los Angeles, Lauren Hashian was living a new chapter, too. She had quietly released a solo album, a moody, soulful collection titled Unwritten Rooms. It wasn't a smash hit, but critics loved it. In one track, she sang, "You were the mountain / I was the sea. We couldn't hold what wasn't free. But in the silence / I found me." There was no bitterness. No public jabs. Just reflection. In an interview with LUK, Lauren finally addressed what the world had spent a year guessing. We weren't broken. We were unfinished. Dwayne and I loved each other for many years, and still do, in our own way. But love that stays a statue will eventually crack. I think we both needed to remember how to move again. Even if that meant apart. There was no mention of custody battles. No legal spats. Just a quiet confirmation that they had, indeed, divorced, privately, months ago. We protected what needed protecting. The rest, we let go. Back in Montana, Dwayne was writing. That much had been confirmed. Not a memoir. Not a self-help book. A novel. A fictional story, reportedly, about a man made of stone who dreams of becoming soft. Sources said it was poetic. Raw. Full of metaphors too personal to miss. He hadn't signed a publishing deal. He didn't want one yet. He told a friend, according to a rare leak, that he didn't want to release it until he could read it without crying. And then, for the first time in over a year, he made a post. On a new Instagram account. No blue checkmark. Just a handle at Just Dwayne. The post was a black and white photo of his hands in the dirt, planting something small. The caption read, "This time, no monuments. Just seeds." The comments flooded in. Tens of thousands within minutes. Some begged for his return to film. Others thanked him for being human. For breaking the myth. For proving that even the strongest among us can come undone, and rebuild. Dwayne didn't reply to any of them. But he didn't delete the post either. And that, perhaps, was the final chapter. Or maybe just the first honest one. The man who once held up an empire had laid it down. Not in shame. But in peace.